Hi, my name is Anton O'Phelan. Have you ever wondered why there's a dragon on the flag of Wales? Here's the Welsh flag. There's a red dragon. Now my story is about why there are no dragons left in Wales. And it all started with a man called Stan Bolivan. Now Stan was a big man. He was the biggest man in his village, and all the villagers respected him and looked up to him. He had a wife, he had a lovely little farm, a cow, some pigs and some sheep and ducks. And it was a beautiful, lovely sunny day. And Stan was strutting about his farm, about his paddocks, and he was looking up at the beautiful blue sky, and he said, I'm Stan Bolivan. This land is mine, this farm is mine, that cow is mine, those pigs are mine, those sheep are mine, and those ducks are mine. I'm the strongest man in this land. Kissed his gums. Now, there appeared a bit of a fluffy cloud in the sky, and it began to get a bit darker. Cloud in the sky. Then he heard something. What's that? He heard a crying. And he wandered all around his farmhouse to see where the noise that was spoiling his lovely day could be coming from. And there on the front porch in a rocking chair was his wife. What are you crying for, woman? There's a beautiful sunny. And he looked up in the sky, and there was dark clouds gathering and bits of raindrops falling. What ails you? Speak to me. I can't understand what you're saying. Tell me what the problem is so I can do something about it. We don't have any children. And with that, the sky had gone from beautiful sunshine to black clouds, and the rain poured down. And he stormed off, and he went through his front gate, and he thought, I'll go to see the priest. He'll know all about something. He'll help me. And off he went. And on his way to see the priest, he had to pass through a small forest. And along the path, he saw something curious in the bog. There was a little green cart with a little old lady sitting in there, all saturated. And there were 3 little black tails sticking out of the mud. And the woman called to Stan and said, Oh, please, kind sir, come and help me. Help my dogs. So he went through the mud. All right. Up popped one dog, pop. Second dog, pop. Third dog, pop. And then he picked up the cart with the little old lady, and through the mud, he struggled back to the path. And he helped clean down the little cart and brush off the dogs, and the dogs were licking him and so thankful. The old lady said, You're a very kind man, and I am the queen of the fairies, and I've got 3 wishes to allow you to wish. Now, in Stan's mind, he was thinking of gold and jewellery and all sorts of treasure, but she said, Your wife needs a wish. Stay here with my dogs. And she disappeared. And he thought, I didn't even chance to ask for my gold and jewelleries. And then all of a sudden, yes, your first wish has been granted. But, for my second wish, I won't want, your wife needs a second wish. Off you go, boom. And she disappeared. And she came back again. Yes, now, the third wish. What did you want for the third wish? I want to get, and he was about to say the gold and the jewellery. And she disappeared again. And then she came back. Your third wish has been granted. Now, thank you, kind sir. Go back home to your wife. You don't need to see the priest. I've sorted things out for you. And off she went with her dogs pulling her little green cart along the path, and she disappeared out of sight. Now, the rain had stopped. and the sun had come out again. So he went all the way back to his farm, and here was his wife standing on the veranda with a wee bonny baby in her arms, and she had the most beautiful smile on her face. And he looked at his wife and looked at his little boy, and he said, "I know what you wished for. Now tell me, what was your sick?" And then he could hear a rustle. She said, "I'm sorry, my husband, this was my first wish, but for my second wish, up in the trees." And he looked up into the trees. There were 25 children. And they all looked at him and they said, "Daddy!" 26 children? Well, what did you ask for the third wish? I hope you asked for a big house and lots of servants or money. Well, about that, darling, come with me to the back of the house. So they went around to the back of the house, and there were 75 more children, and they all looked at him and said, "Daddy!" 101 children. And then the other 25 children came around to the backyard, and the 100 children all looked up at him and put their hands in their pockets, and they pulled out a knife and fork. "Daddy, we are hungry. Please give us some food." He didn't know what to do. He ran into the house and pulled everything out of the pantry and the larder, and he decided to make pancakes, and he made enough pancakes for 100 children. The baby got a bottle of milk. So he was exhausted, and all the children, after they had eaten, they looked up at him and they said, "Daddy, that was yummy. Daddy, we are cold. We need better clothes to wear." I thought, 100 clothes. So he went in and got out all his suits and all his spare clothing, and he cut things up and he sewed together 100 little outfits. And they were all beautifully dressed and ready for bedtime. But then they looked at him and they said, "Daddy, we are hungry. Go to bed. I'll have to go to another farm and see if I can buy some food." So he left his farm, and went off to a neighbouring farm. Now, unbeknownst to him, his neighbour, who had lots of cows and sheep, and he would often trade with this farmer, was having trouble with a dragon. The dragon was coming down from the mountains, and every time he came, he would take with him a cow or a few sheep, or maybe a cow and 2 sheep, and eat them. Take them back to his kingdom, the kingdom of dragons. Now, this farmer said to Stan Bolivan, "I'll not be giving you any food. The dragon will be coming tonight and he will take all my animals." Stan said, "You're scared of a dragon? I'll kill this dragon for you." "You will?" "Yes, but in return, you have to give me some food for my children to eat." "How many children have you got?" "I've got 100 children and a baby." "What?" "Well, if I get rid of this dragon, you will have to supply me with food for my children. Is it a deal?" "It's a deal." So, but I'm hungry. You'll have to feed me before I can fight any dragon. So he sat down at the dinner table, and he brought out a huge meal. Because he hadn't eaten for such a long time, he was busy making food for his children and making clothes. He was ravenous, and he ate the food. And he said, "Is there any more?" And so a second meal was brought out to him. Now, he was halfway through his third meal when the farmer came and said to him, "You have to go, the dragon's coming." I can hear its wings beating on the air. I haven't finished this meal yet. You promised that you would go and kill that dragon. All right, well, and he bent down and he picked up 2 great big pieces of cheese, big round balls, cheese balls, and he stuck them in his jacket. And he went out to the field, and here was the dragon. Landed down. He picked up a cow and he picked up 2 sheep, and he was about to stick them on his back to fly back to his kingdom when Stan said, "Hey!" Now Stan was really frightened, very scared, but he was a good actor. "Hey, you dragon! Put that cow and those sheep down. Who do you think you are, stealing from this farmer?" And the dragon turned to him. "I am a dragon, man. I will eat you." "No, you won't. I've come to kill you and to eat you and to feed you to my babies. I've got 101 children that eat nothing but dragon flesh. I'm a dragon slayer. I go all over Wales finding dragons bigger and tougher than you, and I kill them and I take them to my children to feed them. So get that through your head." And because Stan spoke so boldly, the dragon got nervous. Could this really be a dragon slayer? "Well, how do I know that you are a dragon slayer?" Stan said, "Well, let's have a competition." And he pulled out this hunk of cheese. "See this rock? I'm going to squeeze it so hard that water will flow out of it." He got it. And the dragon's eyes opened wide because water dripped from the stone. The dragon said, "I will make this stone bleed." And he picked up the stone, crushed it, and there was nothing but powder. And Stan said, "That's nothing. You couldn't get water out of that stone, only powder." "Here's another one." More. "Do it a second time. See if you can get some water to come out of that stone." "Bet you can't." And the dragon got scared. "Well, what do you want so you won't kill me?" "Well, I like treasure. Have you got any treasure? A bag of gold, jewels, diamonds, amethyst, rubies, topaz, beryl, turquoise, sapphire, emerald? Have you? No?" "Oh, well, I do, but it's in my castle back in the mountains." "Well, you better get it, and what's more, I'll come with you to make sure that you do give it to me." "Oh, all right. Well, how are you going to get there?" "I'm going to ride on your back, of course. You're going to give me a ride." "My mother won't like it. She's a bigger dragon than me." "I don't kill 2 dragons. That's good. More dragon flesh for my 101 children to eat." "Oh, all right, get on my back." So they flew away. And they went to the mountains of Wales. And there was an old castle. The dragon landed in the courtyard, and out came this hideous-looking dragon, a very old female dragon. "Mother, where are the animals I sent you to bring back?" "Mother, I brought this man. His name is Stan, and he says he kills dragons and eats them, and he's got 101 children that eat dragon flesh, and he told me that if I don't give him 3 bags of treasure, he'll kill me, and he'll kill you too." "Oh, don't be ridiculous." And the mother dragon turned to Stan Bolivan. "Here, you squirmy little man, I'll crush you." And he looked up and said, "Yeah, my children would love to eat you." We had a stone crushing competition." "That's right, Mother," said the son. He crushed stones and got water to come out of them." "Well, you don't look that strong to me," said the mother. "I know what we'll do. We will have a strength competition. Son, you go and fetch your grandfather's great hammer, and the pair of you we'll have a hammer throwing competition. Whoever can throw the hammer furthest, then you will know who the stronger person is. I'm going to bed." And she stormed off in a puff of smoke. And she went into this tower of her castle. Now the son went and he fetched back this huge hammer. And he said, "This hammer belonged to my great-grandfather. And it's very precious to us." And he threw it to the ground. He said, "Pick it up and throw it. See how far you can throw it." Now Stan knew that he couldn't even lift it, let alone throw it. It was huge. So he said, "Well, I don't want to throw it first because I don't know how far you can throw. And if I need to see how far you can throw so I can throw further." Makes sense. So the dragon picked up the hammer and he said, "Where should I throw it?" And he said, "Throw it along the beach," because they were by the seashore. So he threw it 1 mile. "I can't see it." "Well, hop on my back and let's go and find it." So they flew off, landed to where the hammer had landed. And the dragon said, "See, I threw it 1 mile. See how far you can throw it. You've got to throw it more than 1 mile. But Stan ignored him and just looked up at the moon in the sky. There was a full moon and he's going like this. Dragon said, "What are you doing?" "I'm just looking at the moon to see where I can throw the hammer, where it's going to land on the moon. I'm going to throw your hammer, your grandfather's hammer, up to the moon and it's going to stay there forever." You can't throw my grandfather's hammer up to the moon and my mother would be angry with me." "Well, that's a lot further than 1 mile, so, that's where I'm going to throw it." "You can't do that, please, please." "Well, we've got a problem, haven't we? You don't want me to throw your grandfather's hammer to the moon? Then what are you going to do about it? Both you and your mother are going to be food for my children." I don't know what to do. So Stan said, "I'll tell you what to do. You throw it 2 miles back the other way towards your castle, and then you can tell your mother that I threw it." "That's a great idea." So the dragon picked up the hammer and threw it 2 miles in the other direction. Now after they retrieved the hammer, they went back to the castle. And Stan was shown to a room, a guest room. It was up above where the mother and the son lived. Now the mother and the son, they could turn themselves into human shapes when they went to bed instead of being dragons. And Stan was right above their living room. There was a crack in the floor and he could see down through the crack and he could watch these 2 hideous looking creatures as humans discuss the problem of the dragon slayer. And this is what he heard. The son said, "Mother, he threw the hammer further than me." And the mother said, "Well, son, in the middle of the night, I want you to go and take your grandfather's hammer, and I want you to sneak into his room, and I want you to hit him over the head, stick him in a box, put him in a boat, and blow that sailboat to the other side of the world." "All right, mother, I'll do that." So Stan, he looked around to see what he could find, and there was an old bathtub. So he put the bathtub in his bed, he covered it up, and he made a pillow look like he was asleep, and he hid under the bed. Then during the night, he heard footsteps coming up, and all of a sudden there was a loud clang, and the dragon snatched up the blankets containing the bathtub, put it in a big box, and off he went down to the beach. There was a sailboat. He put it all into the sailboat, set the sails, and blew so hard that the sailboat blew all the way around the other side of the world to Tahiti. Now, in the morning, the mother dragon and her son were discussing what had happened the night before and celebrating the farewelling their unwanted guest. Then Stan came through the door. "Hello, how you going?" They looked at him. "Where did you come from?" "Oh, I had the strangest dream. Last night I dreamt I was bitten by a mosquito. And then I was put in a boat and I ended up on the other side of the world. But also in my dream, I blew the sail into the sail and I came all the way back here, just in time for breakfast. Now, I want my treasure." You can't? All right. You said 3 bags, a bag of gold, a bag of jewellery, a bag of precious stones, ruby, topaz, beryl, turquoise, sapphire, emerald, amethyst, chrysolite, onyx, and jasper. Oh, you forgot all those? All right, son, go and get the treasure. So the son filled up 3 bags of treasure and he looked at the old mother. He said, "Lucky for you, my children don't really like old dragon, but they would really love to eat your son and all the other dragons around here. Please, just go, take your treasure. Son, take him away from here, get him home." So Stan hopped on the back of the dragon with his treasure and off they flew all the way back to Stan's farm. And on their arrival at the farm, the children, the 100 children, all came out with a knife and fork. And they said, "Daddy, you've brought dragons for us to eat." Well, the dragon almost died of shock. No sooner had Stan got off his back with the treasure, "I'm going away from here and I'm going to fly back to the mountains and tell all the dragons never to come near Stan Bolivan and his family of 101 children who eat dragon flesh." And off he flew all the way back, and he told all the dragons of Wales, "Get away from Wales, because there's a man called Stan Bolivan and he has 101 children who eat dragons." And he convinced them. So they all flew away and went to somewhere else. Don't know where, maybe Tahiti. Bye.